Hey everybody, it's Player Five. I'm here with my co-host,
Yo, what up? It's MGG.
What's going on? It's Jugga.
and we're about to do a segment of Should You Watch, featuring Darwin's Game. All right. So the overview of Darwin's Game is basically it's a half-step isekai where basically you get invited to this game, Darwin's Game, which is this app, and if you accept the invite, you get bitten by the snake. The snake gives you a superpower that they call a sigil. They range from things as simple as being able to see in thermal vision to being able to teleport and blow things up, Um, and so basically, in Darwin's game, typically it's you have to fight or do some type of special event where upon winning or killing the opponent, you gain coins. One coin is worth roughly about $1,000, so like you can get paid pretty well from playing this game. And yeah, so that's generally what Darwin's Game is about. Half step isekai because they aren't really going to a different world, but there's aspects of a different world. And yeah, it's kind of like an AR overlay, if you will, isekai. And yeah, people be killing each other and shit for
True.
money.
Best way to kill people. But yeah, as far as like my thoughts on the story, I'm actually gonna say that the story was probably the best part of the show in the sense of how they paced at least the anime of how they pretty much gave you information about XYZ as the anime was going on. Because if you guys remember, episode one actually had a ton of information and introduction where you got the complete feel of the anime and also kind of noticed the pace slash to start making theories, to start really thinking about the anime as a whole right from the jump. So that was definitely what got me into the show in the first place because the pacing just like kept up with that episode one flow throughout the whole show. So I think that definitely had me going.
Mm. Yeah, for story for me, like, what I say, like from an episode standpoint, I think you can potentially get invested into the story pretty quickly. Like, I would say maybe like after the second episode when I saw the strats, because I'm a sucker for strats, I was like, all right, I'm in here. But the actual like direction of the story, I feel like doesn't really start to make a whole lot of sense until they get into that the arc where he's fights Flower Buddy, the dude who is I don't even know what they call that arc, but like where they
Oh,
have their first
the
event.
florist, but the first event. But if you guys
Yeah,
remember, though, I mean, like the event started episode two.
did it? I thought that was
Yeah.
like episode
No, like when they
what,
got sucked into the
four?
actual hotel, that was like episode two.
Oh, okay. Well then, yeah. So I guess like somewhere mid that arc, that's when I felt like I was like, okay, cool. I'm more invested in the story because I thought what happened was like the first episode was Kaname Kaname like gets his sigil and gets into the game and fights Banda, and then the second episode was Chick gets into the game and
So
he takes her like
episode one was
shopping or
like
Yeah,
something.
bro, that was all
40
Ep
minutes.
one.
Oh, then that shit was long,
Yeah,
bro. That's
episode
for
one
like
was
two
like 40
episodes.
minutes.
That oh yeah, it was. That's why. Yeah. Because episode one was like an hour long. So yeah, all that shit with her happened in that episode. Yeah. Okay. So then they went shopping with her in that same episode, or was that the next episode when
That
he went
was
shopping
next
with her? She
episode.
was on his
That's
bed.
when, right?
Yeah,
So
because
like
that
next
shit was
episode was
weird
when they
to.
started shopping. He got attacked by Fire Buddy. Well, not Fire Buddy, but like Quick
Yeah.
Buddy. And then they got
Yeah.
sucked into the event. And then the
My God.
event officially started episode three, but they got sucked in episode two.
Right. So okay. So yeah. So then it picks up quick. Then I'll say because that first episode threw me off because I forgot it was 40 minutes long. So yeah, with that, then I changed it. But yeah, probably by like the second episode, it starts to I don't know make more sense or pick up into like what direction the story's going into. But overall, like I liked it. I ended up watching it twice because I was introducing it to some other people, and I felt like the second time I watched it, though, I feel like Kaname falls subject to a lot of the shonen character BS just in the beginning, because I felt like that first fight with Banda was pure luck that he survived. Like,
True.
if he didn't survive that fight, it would have been it would have been a wrap. He used no strategies like that. He didn't use that much strats in that. Then after, when he was fighting Shuka, that's when I was like, okay, cool. He seems to be able to start, like, it made a little bit more sense, even though I don't know. Later on in the show, like when you find out more about Shuka, I'm trying not to spoil too much. It still is like you were kind of lucky that you survived that also.
True.
Bro, because her ass is low-key broken.
No, she was. Like how they kind of again progressed. I mean, we'll talk about it more when we start dissecting each character. But the story as a whole definitely got some pluses because of some of the character development that they had of like the MC and the supporting characters. So I mean, as far as like the flow of the show, I think it was actually pretty well done. It was, because if you think about the plot as a whole, it's not really that special. I'm not sure if y'all checked out Mirai and Nikki, but I kind of got those vibes pretty strong with the show regarding like cell phone kind of based death game situation where you get some kind of abilities / powers to pretty much keep you alive and fight the opposing players. So like the plot itself isn't too crazy, but it's how they did it that definitely keeps you watching episode to episode.
Right. Player 5, you got a thought? What you want to throw out on the story?
Well, I feel like it's only 11 episodes in,
I was just
and the story could kind of go anywhere. What you say?
I said I was hella disappointed at that 11
Yeah,
that's why I was like caught up, and I'm just, where they at?
Yeah, that's why I'm just kind of like, I mean, I could say something on it, but I'm just like, I ain't really got nothing to put in on it. Like, I see where it's trying to go, but with Isekais, bro, like, you never really know, bro. Like, motherfuckers thought Sword Art Online was going in a certain direction, then boom, So,
I mean, I think my thing about it is that, like same thing what you're saying. It's hard to pick the direction, but I felt like where they were trying to go with like that episode 11, where like that whole group is now started and they're like making some type of counter initiative. I feel like the author is doing this, or whatever, because there's apparently a manga and I was about to read it after this 11 episode bullshit. I was about to just start figuring it out, but I feel like the author does like a double layered chess match with Kaname. So I feel like there's a chess match we see with like his battles. But I feel like what's going to happen is probably towards the end, there's like another chess match he's playing with the game master. And like certain stuff he's doing is like being the pieces to that broader chess match story, like this whole Sunset Ravens thing, which I won't talk too much about. I don't want to spoil too much, but yeah, that thing. So
true. I mean, like pretty much as Player 5 said, and also like UMGGs, like there's a lot of avenues they could go on. In the sense of like, if they do it right, I can see this being like a decently long-standing anime where they could probably like push out maybe 50 episodes. Definitely thinks the possibility there, because there's just like so many like one squads to deal with very strong characters, and then the the double layer chess match with the actual game creator in the first place, and how they want to put their hand in how strong they want to actually influence the other characters and like the plot as a whole. So I mean, it's still like highly questionable as far as like to where this series can turn.
Yeah. All right, so on to the characters. I mean, like just to start it off, I think we have a nice cast, a nice healthy cast of characters in this show. As far as like, I don't know if this is true for the Isekai genre or just in general. Clearly, Kaname Sudo is like building sort of a small little harem with some of the people in his that part I was I kind of just mull those parts over, like the whole thing with like I think she's number one, Lu Zhulan, the assassin chick,
Oh
like
yeah.
all that like weird shit that they were trying to go on, the shit like in I guess the end of episode 1 or early episode 2 with Chuka and like laying naked on the bed with him, like all that shit. I was just like, okay, well, sure. It just felt very like tossed in there and random and not like super duper important to the story, in my opinion. So that was whatever. But I do like that there is a healthy cast of characters, and with the sigils, there is a lot of variety. Though there is some shitty shit out there, like dude's truth-telling sigil, like that. Even though Kaname made it useful for that one little episode just to help him out, I don't think it's really useful at all. Like, and I'm glad that they kind of gave him support in other ways. Like he has like the weapons connect and all this other stuff. So they try to make him useful in that way, even though he had a shitty sigil. But yeah, I'm for me at least, not to go into any character too in depth just yet, but I like that there's a variety of sigils and a healthy variety of characters that I feel like I'm excited to see. Like I really liked Speed Buddy too. Like when he had his fight like at the end with Karate Dude, I thought that was dope. It wasn't even super in depth, but I enjoyed it.
Oh no, go ahead, please, Pi.
All right. I was gonna say with the characters, I feel like I like and dislike, and for similar reasons that MGG mentioned. I like that there's a lot of characters, so like, you know, I think gone are the days of solo character, you know, animes that can carry. So you really need a decent cast. And then, but the second thing is like you said, like you can tell that they are definitely pandering to mainstream. But the thing is, I don't think they hit mainstream. Like I think they should just try and pull back. But anyway, we talk about that other thing. But basically, some of these characters are just kind of thrown in. Like they got that Asta effect. Like, oh, I love you because I love you. Why, bitch? You don't know this nigga Kaname? Like, oh, I want Kaname kids. Why? Because that nigga ain't took no L's. Well, if you were watching closely, that nigga kind of lucked through that shit. So you tell me a nigga can luck into the world's best pussy? Like, is that how this works? You know? So I don't like many other female characters for that reason, because I feel like they own that nigga dick for seemingly no reason. The male characters, honestly, I would have rather had the plant guy. What is it?
I was so disappointed when Buddy took an L, man. Spoiler alert. But I was like, are you I was like, no. When he took that L, man, I was for real hurt. I was like, yo, no, he's coming back, please.
I thought he was gonna have some way or something to hold on, but
yeah.
But yeah. Like I can't remember the dude's name, but big homie with the assault rifle and the lying sigil. Another thing, y'all niggas need to start watching dubbed because it's sigil, even though it's spelled sigil.
Or maybe they're pronounced it wrong.
Oh, them niggas get paid. Now, I'm gonna take a word for it.
All I know is that, well, I guess that was supposed to happen because I was like, Zoro went by Zolo for a while, and kids.
Them L's, bro.
Hey, man.
But yeah, like I think his quirk is lame. My bad, I call it quirk. His sigil is lame, but I think for Kaname's like I don't want to kill people type shit.
Yeah,
it's a good sigil to have, because then if you like, hey bro, if we let you go, you gonna try and kill us. Like then you know for a fact if that nigga gonna try and pull one over on you. My favorite character so far though has to be the what do they call that bitch, the accountant?
The analyst. The
analyst. There we go. The analyst. The analyst, her sigil is called Laplace, and basically
that was dope.
She knows the place of all, I guess, particles at one time, which gives her kind of the ability to predict the future, which is true if you did know all those things. And it's kind of cool. She's like a little girl, but she like finesse it really hard. And I wonder if Laplace gave her like super smarts, or if she was just already super smart and then got Laplace on top.
I was a little bit disappointed in her conversion. That was another one of those things where I was like, when she, spoiler alert, like ends up like joining the squad, the gang, I was kind of like, sure, but I didn't feel like her interest necessarily, like, I don't know, it felt forced, where I was like, I don't know if she really needed to join. She seemed like she had enough power and influence on her own, and then it was just like boom, boom, like suddenly Kaname just got these huge chess pieces that I was like, all right, I guess the story's giving it to you, and they all just happened to be female, like the ones that had the biggest backup were all like
there's no reason for the analyst to join this nigga.
Right.
What? You can just keep getting your bread, but like, you know what I'm saying? Like, but
exactly.
Like I said, my man, he got that anime swagger where it's like every bitch that run into him want to meet. So
yeah, I'm like, he technically has an alliance with Chick, the strongest chick in the game. And I'm just like, yo, what the fuck? Yeah, I was just like, yo, all right, okay, just go ahead and give him that shit then.
For real, Kaname needs to start slinging something other than bullets, bro. That's all I'm saying.
I guess so.
But yeah, I like that. It's just I'm not a fan of the shonen-esque ass pulls of characters that they doing. One thing I will say with like, and I feel like this kind of happened with a lot of shows where they do this. Like, so the method that he gets his supporting cast is very random. Right, it's not like, because there's only two ways you kind of get a group. Either you select them or it's randomized. And my issue is that he randomly came across like some of the biggest players in the game.
100%, yeah.
and my thing is like, that's gonna lead to one of two things. Either one, there will be no point in him ever choosing a person. Like, man, we really need this type of guy. You know what I'm saying? Or this type of girl. There'll never be a point of that, which I hate because I love when they pick people for specific reasons. Then two, I don't know, yeah, just give me that One Piece vibe where it's like, yeah, we get these new characters, but it's like, nigga, do we need you? I got Sanji and Zolo. Like, what the fuck?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, do I need you on my squad, nigga?
I feel like the way Kaname got characters is equivalent to like Michael Jordan being like wearing a wig and just like walking down the street. You challenging him to like a one-shot game. You like, or horse or something like that. He misses his first shot, you make your first, and he's like, yeah, I'm joining you. Then he takes the wig off and you find out it's Michael Jordan. It's like,
yeah,
what?
right?
Like, I felt like, especially with, and I feel that especially with Shuka.
And he like, hey bro, thanks for helping me with my ankle. I'm joining your team.
And I feel that especially with Shuka, because I felt like she went from, okay, he beat her, and then they were like, oh, she's never really lost. And even when he beat her, it kind of made it seem like her not really losing was because she like never went against anybody strong. Because then right after that, like she loses to like the ice people or whatever. And I'm like, okay, but then at the end when they go up against Wang, I'm like, bro, what? Like she was a goat from a minute. Like, what the fuck is going on here, bro? Like, how did you even lose to him in the beginning with that shit?
Okay, so this is what I seen from Shuka, and I originally thought the exact same thing as you, but then I rewatched the whole series because I was watching it with my friend.
Yeah.
So like, okay, when she was fighting Kaname, she straight up was like, "Hey, I'm not going as hard as I could, nigga. Show me your signal, or I'm gonna kill you." Like, just flinging her blades around. And when he bust that first shot, literally after he bust that shot, her chain started ripping shit apart. Like, it went from like cling, banging against stuff to like knocking doors down. Like, oh, okay, try and kill me, bro. I gotta kill you now. And then I think he caught her, like, not in a I could kill you position, and she was like, man, I could kill this dude, but hey, he kind of got the better of me. Okay, I'll let you win, bro. Like, because he still could have blew his fucking head off before he pulled that trigger. And then with the ice people, I feel like she just kind of got counter, like, damn, I'm in a low mobility area and there's water all around. I took this L.
Yeah, that was kind of situation.
Well, I feel you, but I just want to put on some respect, or I just thought that part was funny. That was another part where Ryuji was useful because he was like, as soon as Kaname went down there to go save her, he like upped the blame on that kid. He said, "All right, bitch, I know you was lying about something. I don't know what it was, but I know you was lying about something. You go tell me." So,
Hey, yo, I was
like
like,
how
bro, that was so realistic. Cause I bet he
yeah,
was like, bro, Economy is not gonna go for me upping this shit on this little kid. I'm
right.
waiting for that nigga to leave. As soon as he left, he pulled out a big gun. Oh, blow your shit down, little kid. I know you was lying.
That
Damn,
shit was dope.
wow, bro.
That shit was dope. But yeah, I guess another person we have to talk about, like this may contain some spoilers, so y'all might want to skip to the end of this video. Is Wayne? We gotta talk about him as a villain because I felt like even as a dumb first villain, he was pretty good. I was surprised at how much I actually like enjoyed the first arc of basically coming to defeat him. I don't know what you guys thought about Wayne, but I didn't like him as a. I didn't think he was particularly smart as a villain himself, but it would just goes to show how far you can go with like a broken sigil and like enough people behind you. Because I felt like because basically more or less because of his power and that he was like semi smart and he didn't give a fuck about the game so much, he was still able to amass like influence and power because he just like used that shit to benefit him in the real world. Because it was like still like I'm a broken nigga in the real world, even though I may not be broken in this game, you know?
Wayne, I pretty much want to give him more ups than I think even MGG what you gave him, because originally they were trying to make him look like that kind of dumb OP broken power and all he really cares about is his power and like pretty much how to help him. It's like, yes, that is true, but I would say that's still only maybe 65 to 70% when in other anime it would be like, 95%. Because he was actually reasonably smart in the sense of he used every single thing available to him to the best of his ability. At least I believe so. His large squad, how to actually efficiently use his ability properly, even in his chaotic kind of crazy situational, F people up. But he used it like in a smart way to instill fear to get what he needs. And plus, the whole thinking of getting his whole squad in the event, even though they weren't invited to the event, I thought that was actually a really smart move that like a lot of leaders wouldn't have thought of. And I was like, wow, that's actually really impressive and really effing clever. And then not to mention, I mean, like, though he didn't have all the pieces he needed to solve the event, he again still deduced the best way and like pretty much used all of what he had to get as close to like the actual main prize as possible. So, I mean, like, homie pretty much played the game like pretty effing good. So I would actually like give him a lot of big ups. I mean, considering this is the first big villain, that only means that the series as a whole villain should go up from there. Granted, you're already starting at a high point, so hopefully they can keep it up for like season 2 and so.
Yeah.
I mean, I see what you're saying on the Wing part, but I do still feel like he came to that conclusion on some dumb shit. Like I could just see it happening on some dumb shit. Like he was chilling in a bar or something, and they was like, "Oh, this event's about to start," and they like, "Boss, can we go?" And he was like, "Yeah, fuck it, let's go." And did it happened like that. Like that's how I felt like the shit happened, where they all just showed the fuck up. But
yeah, as far as Wayne goes, I am impressed by him. Like at first, I thought he was just a goofy, and he did show me. I think I'm probably in the median between y'all two. But I think I would like them to open the world up because they in 11 episodes they shrunk the world a lot. You know what I mean? Like we know all the biggest players already. You know.
yeah.
And I'm like, that's one thing I don't like. Now, here's my thing: if they're not going for the shonen vibe, then that's okay, right? But if they're going for the shonen vibe, which it seems like with all these random girls throwing themselves at him, then you should probably open your world up. You know?
Yeah, but then I guess my counter or question to that is like all the people that we saw in the room basically watching that event, like those all seem like powerful players, and I don't know if they're players in the game or all of them are, but I know like some of them were like the top chick and the top guy. So I do feel like with that there is more groups to talk about that may just be kind of like laying low or not vying for as much power because they may not necessarily need to. Because like in Wang's case, really like him playing the game, I felt like was kind of partially unnecessary. Like he basically like could have just like used his power in the real life and then just won a couple of fights and made sure he bought the things he needed to protect himself from dying in Darwin's game, and he probably could have been straight. And it seems like that's kind of what the Donjo boxing club leader did as well. It's like he worked his way up and then got that benefit from the game master to basically now he makes revenue or profit from the Darwin's game system. And then the other point to that is like somebody like Kaname, even though he is the main character, so you can take it with a grain of salt. He was basically able to like in so many days, maybe probably like a month's worth of time, transform from like a nobody to a person with a full-fledged, scary as fuck organization. So there may be others that are able to do some shit like that down the road where they can just kind of come in the game and do stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? With the broke sigil. Because the sigil dude got, that would have, like his friend, spoiler alert, but that sigil that he got, like that shit was broken. True. Like I was like, oh, that's definitely a decent sigil. It just sucks that you got it around experienced players. But if he got that regularly and then was able to kind of mature and learn, he definitely would be able to do some shit with that. You know what I'm saying? He would have been a useful asset at least to Kaname's team. So there's definitely a lot of dope sigils out there that I feel like can change the game. And it looks like there's some sort of, maybe it's unique to Kaname sigil, but my thought is there's probably some sort of development or progression that comes with certain sigils in terms of mastery. Because Kaname did that whole thing with the florist, which was like, oh, okay, it looks like they're trying to show that like his sigil has the ability to mature in some way. And I think there might be other sigils with similar capabilities.
True. Pretty much like MGG said, like I think the idea of like smalling the world player 5, I think maybe coming from like pretty much as you said, is for the characters themselves. But I think the best thing about this series is that it's not necessarily the characters that would actually give Darwin's game all these opportunities and different avenues to go on. Pretty much like Player 5 said, the sigils are pretty much like quirks, right? They can literally be anything. So as long as your creativity for the writers are up there, they can make a whole other world with just a different arrangement of powers. And then 2, the events. As we saw with like the event, the whole trick and strats and heavy hardcore thinking you have to do with just getting to the main prize of the event. If there's other events like that, then sometimes it could not even matter what sigil you got, but it could be like the worst sigils that works in like the best places. So I mean, like the anime again works like no, maybe not hardcore, but decently on strats and pretty much strategizing. So if you think about it like that, all they would have to do then is just keep on creating very interesting events and like different possible locations, and you could still have a pretty sweet and open-ended anime depending on how the writers want to go with it. So I mean, I definitely see there's a lot of different possibilities out there. Plus the characters we were actually introduced to were, at least in my opinion, only basic introduction as far as the big heavy hitters, minus the 8th clan. So we still didn't see how they can truly apply their sigils in set events, and like there's still like so much more that they can do with that. So
I just have literally one thing to add into this is so I think there are like a very limited number of sigils, I think, or sigils or whatever fuck. I think that they Like it's more likely that your shit get copied than a new one. Because the analyst, it seemed like she know everything, and she was kind of hyped, like, oh shit, Kaname got a new sigil, like, oh, this a new one, like, and the way they talk about sigils don't seem that they're personal to the person, if that makes sense.
They don't seem personal?
Yeah, like somebody will be like, it's just like the way they explain they sigil, it'll be like, oh, that's a rare one. You know what I'm saying? Like they've called some of them rare. And I just feel like it's like you could run into a person that got the same sigil. Will they actually, use that motherfucker the same way you use it? That I don't know yet.
Yeah, but so far it seems like there is semi variety there, because I think like with the dude, the florist fought, they knew about his thing, like it was some fire based thing, but the activation and how, like, I'm sure we're gonna run into other fire based users, you know what I'm saying? But like there might be ones who just shoot fire out of their hands, or ones like him where it's like, oh, fire surrounds my body or something like that, where it isn't that unique or rare to counter, but it is like different in a way, if that makes sense.
Right. I mean, in my opinion, I'm actually, if you actually like look at least at the characters that that we know and their sigils, I think they relate pretty well with at least their personalities, in the sense where it would make sense that there are others that are similar, aka like fire, because not all personalities are like unique, where you could be hot-blooded here, hot-blooded there, and then if like your temper is really hardcore for you, like other people, firepower, fire sigil, whoop, there it is. But I mean, if you look at like the main squad, like the Sunset Ravens, possibly Shuka, her ability to control like thread-like substances, aka her thirstiness for having bonds or attachments with the family. Rain being like super analyst, and that she pretty much always is trying to be pretty smart / thinking hardcore about things. So her ability to then be able to analyze probabilities well was good. Sui Sota, pretty much the twins who share the one body. Spoiler alert, sorry, it was beforehand. Anyways, it was
y'all
her.
Funny with these spoiler alerts.
I mean, like her ability of like water being like how easily her personality can change, because she literally and like he literally share one body, two personalities, super flowy. Like Ryuji, pretty much. I don't even know. That's just a lame mother effer. He's just a lie detector. Maybe he got some insecurities. Who knows? But I mean, like in any case, like this is like the characters that I just said. I don't know. It just seems like at least the writers are trying the best of the ability to give them a reasonable power based more on their personality. And like the copycats are just, I mean, possibly just basic people. Long story short, where their personality can easily be seen in other people. So I mean, yeah. I think that, I mean, as far as, at least that's another opportunity, I guess, the series has, where if they introduce different characters with interesting personalities / mindsets, after their experiences in life, that maybe we can start to see more interesting sigils. AKA, that's why Kaname, is the MC. He's supposed to be like the interesting, the unique, both personal one. So that's why he has, this unique ability, quote unquote. So who knows? I mean, in any case, I just think the series lined up the first season as a pretty strong prequel to however, like pretty much whatever comes next. I just think that like season 1 was a mighty good setup, if anything at all.
I can agree. Talking about the hype of Darwin's Game is very difficult for me because, like I said, in 11 episodes, and like Jugga just pointed out, it's a setup for what could be anything. It could end up as trash as fucking Sword Art Online, or it could be Big 3. It really got potential, bro. Like, I'm not gonna lie, especially if niggas is calling fucking Demon Slayer Big 3, like, nigga, this definitely be at the top of that. Like, motherfucker did more in one episode than Demon Slayer did in 6. But I ain't gonna even go there, bro. All I gotta say is, off hype alone, man, I'm gonna be positive here. I'm gonna shoot for the stars. I'm acknowledging before the flames come back and niggas try to call me Goofy of the Year. I'm shooting for the stars, and I'm gonna say Darwin's Game ends Big Three.
Wow.
Oh,
You
wow.
think it'll get there?
I think if they take it in a shonen way, because right now it's kind of it could go in a seinen or a shonen way. If it goes the seinen way and we start getting more blood, more gore, more realistic situations, it can't make Big Three just because niggas is too scared to see that shit.
Yeah.
But if it goes the shonen route, it's just like, hey, bro, I'm just trying to make bread off this. It could make it. It could be up there. It got its own path, but it still fits in the shonen. It's not magic. It's not superheroes. It's different, so it could squeeze right in.
I do agree that it is different, and that's like where it's hard for me to go. Like you said, you're shooting for the stars, so I'm taking it at that. But it's hard for me to say Big Three level just because when we talk about Big Three, it has to universally catch people, I think, in a way. And to me, the only non-shonen that I know of, well, not non-shonen, but like super boxy shonen that I've seen do some shit like that was like Death Note. You know what I'm saying? That seems like one of those shows where it's like, okay, everyone seems to have known about it or heard about it in a way, shape, or form in the community. Now, do I think Darwin's Game can pull that off? Not the way the first season was executed, no, because I feel like not enough people are talking about it. I see some people talking about it, but like but I'm like the way people talked about Promised Neverland, which is now shitty. But when that first season dropped, that was something that wasn't in the shonen genre, but it caught. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think it's gonna catch, but I think it's still like it's gonna be one of those sleepers. Like when people are looking for anime suggestions and they're like, "Oh, what's a good anime that's like not Naruto, Bleach, or whatever?" This is definitely one that I'll throw out that I will assume most people haven't watched. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think this one is going to be the one that brings people to the isekai genre the way like maybe Sword Art Online pulls some people in, or Kuroko no Basket pull people into sports anime. Like, I don't think this Darwin's Game is going to type of thing because not enough people are talking about. Like I said, you told me about it, and I was like, okay, this is dope. Why is nobody talking about it? So I was like, oh, for sure, it's not on the hype where it should be. I think it's definitely under hyped right now.
It's so underhyped, bro. Like, I'm just saying, if it catch a wave, this is also I'm shooting for a start. If it catch a wave and they start, obviously I haven't read the manga, which they could already be down a certain path. But if they switch, because we know generally after those first couple bit of chapters, niggas will change they tone up. You know what I'm saying? Right. The audience anyway. So if they change their tone towards shonen, if it catch the wave, because I think it really just got shot on by this Rona shit. Yeah. If catch the right wave, bro, shit, when season 2 dropped, come on.
Yeah, I definitely feel like the goof was the 11 episodes. That goof is like what's really going to make it hard. Because I think that first 11, it caught a wave that if it was 24 episode season, they probably could have doubled down on it with another major arc. Because it was like after the, spoiler alert, the whole Wang situation, if they had another better villain that came up behind that they then beat within the same season, I think that would have maybe like pulled more people to it. I still don't think it would have bring it Big 3 level, but it definitely would have probably
made noise.
Put more hype on it. But yeah, but that 11 episodes is like boom. As soon as you start to really feel like you got invested, because I watched it in a day and like I really got invested. So like by the time they did that episode 11 thing, I'm like, cool, I'm ready for the. And then it's like, and I was just like, where's the next episode? You know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
I don't know. That 11 episodes fucked them up.
Do you think it's worth reading?
Oh, 100%. I think I can catch this. I could definitely go and read it because I've read worse. Like I don't know if you guys have watched or heard of Batum. It's like similar in a way. It's like an Isekai survival type of thing, but they're not in a game. They like are forced to go to this island and they each have these special bomb boxes that they do shit with. Whatever. It started off, I started it as an anime and transitioned to the whatever. And I would say maybe this type of series is starting to become one of my subgenres that I can get into. This like survival game thing. Mm-hmm. I always try to watch a few. Like I watched King's Game a few years ago, which I thought was kind of trash actually. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I definitely think I can read the manga for this. It did enough hype, and you know I'm a sucker for strats, so I'm in it.
Yeah, pretty much the same vibes as you guys. Pretty much got caught in pretty quick. Actually, first, a side note,
Oh.
the more that we've been talking about it, I actually forgot about it too. But the F1 was longer than a usual episode. So low key, that could be the reason why there's only 11 Fs. Not giving an excuse per se, but maybe at least that was like their mindset. But in any case, I just thought about that. As far as the series as a whole, it's tough for me to recommend an anime that I know is gonna leave people super, super thirsty for more. So that would literally be the only reason I would ask people to possibly hesitate on watching it. As soon as I know there's definitely a season 2 coming out, that'd be a different story. But I mean, it just leaves you wanting so much more. But like the series as itself, definitely a big recommendation. Definitely like the flow as a whole. Definitely liking, like the story and pretty much the opportunity of how it can grow. And I would also consider definitely reading the manga as well. Because, I mean, again, like, after that Ep 11, you gonna be thirsty. Like, do not kid yourself. You are gonna want to definitely see more. But no, I definitely give it big ups. I enjoyed it.
Well, I guess we moved on into recommendations.
Oh, whoops.
We're good. Charmy, you can go ahead. I think I kind of already said mine. Mine's is like, yes, I'm gonna read the manga, and yes, I think people should watch the anime. It was good. It was a solid watch. Like for to see, especially like since I felt like this last season the anime was pretty dry. I think it was definitely something worth picking up and getting into. I would recommend it. The 11 episodes does fucking suck. I will put that out there, but at least there's an option for the manga if you're interested, which I appreciate. Like if this was an anime only thing and they hit me with this 11, I'd be kind of hot because I'm like, bro, so this really can go wherever the fuck. But at least I'm like, okay, there's a consistent story. So if I'm really that thirsty, I can transition to the manga, read that, and what I'm saying, finish it that way.
Yeah. As far as recommendations go, I've been recommending Darwin's Game more than any other anime this season. Like you said, in a season that was kind of dry and filled with just second seasons of shit that's already been out, no real new drops like that. Darwin's Game was definitely a fucking hit. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I don't know. I might be willing to read the manga. I just feel like this might be. I don't like reading action manga. I like strat manga, but I don't know which way they're gonna take it. Are they gonna go more strats or more action? And if they doing action, I'd rather just see it animated.
I agree. I mean, I think it's definitely going to be better appreciated in an anime. The way he's executing some of these like strats and stuff. Reading it, you'll still be able to absorb the same thing, but I think you'll definitely develop more of an appreciation for it in anime form. But like I said, with the 11 episode shit, that scares me because then it feels like, you know what I'm saying? We just run into it too much. Like they did that to a couple other of my shows, not the 11 episode thing specifically, but this whole like, all right, get niggas invested and then just drop it on the floor. Like Maggie, they did that shit. It was like, boom, 2 seasons. You had me watch these 2 seasons, then you just drop the shit on the floor. Kingdom, they now brought it back, but it was like, all right, 2 seasons, got me invested, dropped it on the floor. So when you do that with 11 episodes, it makes me feel like you're just going to drop it on the floor. And especially since I don't think it got the hype it deserved, I feel like they're going to try and drop the shit on the floor with this 11 episodes.
Yeah, pretty much. As I said before, after you check out those 11 eps, you're going to want to be thirsty to start reading the manga. I'm not seeing like a confirmed second season release date yet. However, there are definitely some huge speculation saying that it could come out early 2021. So, hey, I mean, as soon as that release date comes out, I'm going to be ready for it. But no, definitely check it out if you kind of like a death game kind of genre of anime, and because it'll definitely, it'll definitely tickle your fancy. as some might say.
All right. So I think that was it for Darwin's Game. We'll catch y'all in the next Should You Watch or Should You Read video. Peace.
All right. See you guys.